Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Price on Purpose. Once again, I am your host, Stacey Price. We got an awesome episode for you today. We are joined with not only Ivory Michelle, the Locness Goddess, but also the person that is responsible for my hair care for, I don't even know how long it's been, Ivory. Like, how long have you been doing my hair?
I think either 3 or 4 years.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're the first hairstylist that I think I've kept for so long.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's like, all right, and not, you know what it is for me? You know, it's a relationship. It's a different relationship. You know, I think in this day and age, as we venture back to being more human in our approach to things, um, for me, what's important is a certain level of consistency in that relationship. And every time I go to you, I feel good. I don't feel like, all right, here we go again. You actually make the experience so beautiful.
Aw. Am I allowed to cry?
Of course. We are an emotion friendly space here. This is a safe space on Price on Purpose.
That's good to know.
Yes, yes. So tell us a little bit about what you do and why.
So, the why. Oh, man. I'm going to tell the beginning part of that as quickly as I can because it is a long-winded story. But I wasn't living on Long Island. I was further up north. And when that situation was over and I was ready to come back, the transition was not as easy as I thought it was going to be. My sister was also going through a very important life change. Mm-hmm. So my mother, being the woman that she is, she was like, okay, how do I make this work for everyone? Mm-hmm. And I guess, the universe is always there and, just making everything work so perfectly. So at the same exact time, my transition and my sister's transition aligned with somebody else's transition. And myself, my mother, and my sister, we ended up buying a hair salon in Amityville. It was a family business that we had for 5 years. And being in the hair industry allowed me to see all the flaws that I never knew about just coming and going as a client in the salon. Because think about it. If you're lucky enough, you spend 2 or 3 hours at the shop, not 24 hours, right? Mm-hmm. So you have the experience and you go home. Mm-hmm. Now either you come back for your bi-weekly appointment or your monthly appointment, and that's it. You don't really know the inner workings of it. Boy, oh boy, I learned a lot. Like, just watching all the mishaps, the flaws, the things that people could do just better. And when I decided to take on being a loctician, that was my main focus. I wanted to make sure I was not doing all of these. I have horror stories for days that, I've heard from other people, and I'm just like, what? Like, it's actually really sad, the things that certain people had to go through to even come to find someone like myself. I take great pride in really loving not just my client's hair, but their inner person, so it is a real relationship. Some people I've been doing hair for 6 years now. And some people they've been with me the whole time. Some people are brand new, but no matter if it was 6 years or 6 days, the relationship is still the same. The customer service is still the same. If anything, it's probably better now because I've learned so much. Like, I'm still learning. I am nowhere near done. You know what I mean? So I'm still learning, and the process is so exciting. Yes. Elevation, it's a lot of fun, growing and evolving. So, yeah, I mean, that's why I do what I do, how it started. And, I'm excited for the new year. Oh, I'm so excited. I have so much planned for myself, for my clients, for the business. So,
Heck yeah. No, I'm so grateful to be a part of the journey. Before we did this episode, I was like, because I saw you were posting on Facebook and I was like, wait a minute, like, didn't I say, like, we're supposed to do this show like a while ago? And I was like, what am I waiting on? Let's do it now. And you're like, okay. And when you were like, I asked you, I said, what do you want to share as your overall message? Like how important hair care is to that self-love journey. I was like, oh my God, I got to get my
Yes. Now, when it comes to you, I understand who you are spiritually. So I can leave you to your craft and trust that there's not too much that I'm going to have to do, even if it is a year, because it's been about 2. Now, obviously we had COVID. So a lot of people were not even leaving their homes to be safe. So I was actually impressed with your own self-care that you've been doing. It wasn't a lot of work for me to do yesterday. So kudos to you.
Thank you. Because, girl, I was looking in the mirror. I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah, sometimes it looks worse than it actually is. But it was not that bad.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm so blessed to, have you as my loctician because I didn't even, what the funny thing is? It's like, I don't think I spend that much time in the mirror. And I think that's in so many levels more than, you know what I mean? I think, I actually like, I'm just like, all right, just put it up. Like yesterday, I didn't realize how long my hair has gotten.
Yes, it's very long.
I
was just looking at your intro. You need to update that because your hair is much longer now. I was like, look how short her locks were, and they're so long now. So
yeah, I'm
show them what you're working with. Show them what you.
Yo, what was it? Yeah, it's well now that it's above my I'm putting it over my shoulder, but it's down here. But on my back, it's like it's down by my shoulder blades. And what I didn't share with a lot of, well, I don't know, some people might have heard on my show that I used to have issues with my thyroid. I had hyperthyroidism. And I had locks before, but because of the treatment I was going through and getting the radiation, I would wake up and my hair would be on the bed.
Oh wow!
Like I had to cut it all off, and I started baldy waldy. I started baldy waldy. And I was like, as I grew my hair out, I had the little fro and I was like, okay, we're just going to do Afro style. And then I was like, nah, there's something about locks because I know I'm not going to be all up in my hair and styling every 5 minutes. So I was like, okay, what are we going to do? I loved locks on me. And I said, look, we're going to try it again. And I have to admit, I was actually afraid to try again because I didn't want to go through that process of cutting all my hair off again.
Oh wow! Because is it that the thyroid issue could come back?
It's always possible. It's always possible with not eating well, not exercising, and I think also it had to do a lot with I like looking at other cultures and how they handle things. And I remember this cool guy named Mirza. I was talking to him many years ago on my show when it was called Waist Off Podcast. And he was like, well, if that's something that's radiating or an issue in your throat chakra, there may be some other work that you have to do that's beyond food and exercise. And I realized that a lot of it was connected to me not using my voice or speaking up for myself. So once I started to go on that journey, I don't think that there's any irony in me being healthy now. I'm starting to use the gift that the universe or God gave to me, which is to promote self-love and awareness on whether it's my show or even me standing alone by myself. I have to be able to speak my truth and to sit in my truth and operate out of that.
Exactly. And I do, by the way, love the new name for the podcast.
Thank you.
So perfect.
Oh, praise God. Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah, it's got a little ring to it, don't it?
It really does. I'm like, ooh, a little shimmy.
Yes. But, I want to get more into because, you did speak about how you and your family were going through this shift. So is it that you were like upstate New York or like?
It was Scarsdale, New York specifically.
Scarsdale? Oh, every time, like, scat,
Yes.
So is that where you were born up there, or you were born down here, moved up there, and then?
It was a relationship
Mm,
that I was attempting to take to another level. It didn't work out. So I
mm,
just, when it's time, it's time. And
absolutely.
when that ended, I needed to come back.
Hmm. So why locks? Like, why are you not, say, like, cutting hair? What is it about the lock journey that speaks to you?
So that's a funny story. I dibbled and dabbled in everything when it comes to cosmetology.
Mm.
And honestly, I wasn't good at anything else. I
Okay.
wasn't good at the weaves. I wasn't good at braiding. It just didn't come to me the way locks did.
Hmm.
Um, and then I found out how important it was to have something to be a master in.
Mm.
So there's people that say, "Oh, I do it all." That means that you're not great at one thing. That
Mm.
means you're good at everything, but you're not great,
Mhm.
not magnificent in one thing.
Mhm.
So when I realized that I was naturally good doing locks, I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm
Mhm.
going to stick to this. I'm going to do my research. I'm going to look at everything, videos, books, follow the greats. There are people that are on, Instagram that they have millions of followers, and there's a reason for that, obviously.
Mhm.
So I was looking at them and seeing what they do, seeing what they don't do,
Mhm.
and it was a lot of work, but it was obviously worth it in the end.
Mhm. Right.
But yeah, I also realized, even for myself, at the time, I too had a Caesar. I
Mhm.
had, my little tiny afro, whatever, and I was like, let me grow it out. When it was about 2 inches long, I got braids, and then I got the faux locks.
Mhm.
When I saw myself with what could be me with like
Mhm.
locks, I was like, so when I took it out, I immediately started my lock journey. Funny enough, the same day that I went to go see um, Black Panther.
Mm.
4 years ago. It'll be 4 years in February.
Nice.
So that was the day that I started my lock journey.
You're like, yes.
Laconda forever. That's what we.
Laconda, nice.
That's what we
I
call
love
it.
it. I love it. I
Yeah,
love it. That's
that's how
awesome.
that started. Laconda forever.
Yeah. Like, I remember what your locks were like this, little tiny babies.
They were so small. People were like, What is this?" Real small. So
Right.
to
You know what?
have all
Yeah.
of this now, I am just in love. I love my
It's
hair.
gorgeous. It's
Thank you.
gorgeous. Yo, you rocking it.
Thank you.
Yes. Like, it's so interesting. I was thinking about, sometimes when I have people on my show that I have met previously or know personally,
Right.
like, I'm just like, yo, when did we meet? When did we meet? I
Oh.
remember you used to be at Earwax, but I never said anything to you, I think. And then Duck was
Mm.
like, God, like, I couldn't stand, because living on Long Island, it's like, to find a loctician,
I keep hearing that.
it's like non-existent. You know what I mean? Like, you have to go to, like, oh, if you're gonna get your hair done, where are you at? Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan. Well, Manhattan a little less, but it's always in
Right.
that,
Ooh, lot
yeah,
less.
a lot less. Maybe if you're looking for a blow bar, like they call it. That I still don't understand. But anyway, um, it was tough. And I told him, I was like, yo, man, because he started his lock journey. So I was just like, yo, man, like, who does your hair? And he told me about you. And I remember there was an event, I think G Rocks was having it. I don't remember, but it was at Vibe Lounge, and you were at the bar, and I walked over to you, and
Yes, that's exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened.
I just remember you being kind of like in your zone. You were like in your own world. I was like, hey, and he's like, this is how I'm like, me. I'm just like, hey, how's it going? You're like, good. I'm like, fine. Like,
Ah,
whatever. I was like, yo, I was so excited. I was like, you do hair? You do locks? non-existent out here on Long Island. It's so hard to find. And if you do find, it's just like, the thing is, for me, when I was looking for a loctician on Long Island, it was like some website that wasn't really a website. Like, it was just like, hit me up, send a text. I was just like, I don't like this. Like, I want more. Like, this is how I feel. Like, I know with some salons, there's an experience.
Yes.
You walk in, or when you call them on the phone, it's an experience. You know what I mean? And for me, that's important. The experience is important of how I'm welcomed into the space. And with some locticians, granted, that may not be their thing. They're just like, look, I do hair and that's it. I'm not really thinking about, look, there's a time that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, with you, it's a total experience. Like, I think we have a little more personal than, like, say, like maybe somebody that you don't know of how you book them. But your process, what I like is it's very welcoming. And even yesterday, like, you had the music on and you're like, oh, rose water, like it's rose water. And I'm like, oh my God, like I felt like a princess or something. I was just like, yeah.
Well, you are. So that's the kind of, customer service that you're supposed to receive.
Yeah.
There's royalty. Obviously, we come from a lineage of royalty, and I think people forget that. I think people forget, like, we are supposed to have these things all the time. And I'm in the middle of writing a book, and one of the things that I talk about is white glove customer service.
Yes. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes.
It's actually something that I didn't know I was already doing. I had no idea that it had a name, to be honest with you.
Yep.
And so when I started doing my research on it, I was like, oh, so even for me, it's, the one thing I think people forget, we put on this almost an act, really, for that first time, right? And then as the appointments continue, like, the service seems to like dwindle, and it's like they don't get like the same wow and love that they got the very first time. That is what you're supposed to get all the time. I mean, it should be. But there seems to be a lack of that in the cosmetology world.
Yes. So. Oh my God. I'm so grateful that you said that, because I actually started another show that I haven't posted yet called Quality Theory. And the subline is where why and how matter. And I think, just like you're saying, in the business, whether it's, you're going to a salon or a grocery store, we've seen it happen in so many businesses where when the business opens, there's this, oh my God, there's balloons. I am so grateful that you're here and you're my customer. Come on in.
Exactly. And then, there's excitement, there's love, there's understanding, there's communication. And honestly, even if you think about a relationship with a significant other,
yes,
it's the same. The beginning, right, is always, oh, wonderful. We're all in love, and it's dates and it's roses and gifts and kisses and blah, blah, blah. And then 5 years later, it's like, somebody sleeping on the couch.
Make me a sandwich.
Cursing each other out. Birthday, like, what is that?
There is an expectation. I'm not getting what I deserve.
But that's because you set the bar so high.
Right.
And then a year later, the person is looking at you and they're like, what happened? So if we can do that in our businesses, well, we should be. We should also be able to do that with the people that are very important in our lives.
Yeah.
It shouldn't dwindle down and die. But I see and you see that it just happens. Like, it's almost inevitable. And I would love to just change that.
Oh my God. I am so grateful to know that you think this way. And it's so interesting because, that, like, I'm going to have you on the other show too, because we got to break it down I think that would be amazing to break that down for the beauty industry and you be that catalyst for change, because that's what I've noticed in so many businesses, even with businesses where they have, whether it's like 5 employees or 500, it's like the novelty wears off. It's like you're so amazing at welcoming me. And then all of a sudden there's this, like, dare I say it, like, I like to use music terms sometimes, you know, there's a decrescendo in the vibe. And I'm like, why is that? Did we forget? And why are we forgetting? Because the thing is, we can actually change it. We can remind ourselves or put somebody in place to remind us.
Yeah. I think just like in a relationship, people get comfortable. But I think the one thing that I always see is, like, you've got these motivational quotes and stuff, and people always, now at least, I see a lot of people talking about being uncomfortable, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I don't think too many people understand that, believe in it. So it might be a really long time before we see the type of service that I'm speaking about happen across the board, whether it's hair, nails, eyebrows, makeup. I don't know. There's so much out there now. Women do a lot of stuff to be happy with them. So.
Yeah. I'm so grateful that you radiate that, because that's the thing. From day one, when you did my hair, it's always been an experience. It's always been, and the thing is, it's never, for me, my experience, it's never been like we start here and it went down. Whether you were like, yo, I'm in the best time of my life or not, it's always been, this is what I've been feeling. Every time the service has increased. And why is that so important to you?
Oh man, because, like, we have one life to live. And if you don't wake up feeling completely grateful for the breath in your body, I mean, that's how I feel every day. And I make it a point, because I'm not perfect, but I make it a point to meditate, to light my candles, to burn my sage, and to make sure that my energy is on point to give to another person. There's so much negativity in this world. And I've always been a lover. Like, I've always been a lover. I always wanted to spread peace, joy, love, and happiness. And I am blessed to be able to do that through my artistry. So it's important, because it's the only thing that is going to heal this world. Like, literally, there isn't anything else that is going to stop this path of negativity and violence that we see other people on every day. Most recently, there was an individual, please forgive me because I don't remember his name, that was murdered in front of his entire family in broad daylight. And it's just crazy. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
That's the question. The question. Why? You know, I feel that, you know, it's interesting, you know, when things like that happen, and how it's all connected to our values, our purpose, and whether we live in it or not, or whether we're confident enough to live in it. Because I think, you know, sometimes we feel like we have to be perfect, and if we don't meet that, then we suck. You know what I mean?
There's no such thing as a human being perfect. What we're only supposed to do is try to be better than we were yesterday. Love our neighbor, love ourselves, you know, give back to the community, things like that. Like, I just wish a lot of people would wake up tomorrow and just be positive.
Yeah, it's a struggle. You know, it can be a big challenge, you know, based on, you know, I feel that if we worked consciously on being aware of how everything affects us, and I mean everything, whether it's things, people, situations, environments, what we put in our minds, what we surround ourselves with, if we were a little, like, even maybe like 6 to 10% more aware.
Funny you say that because I'm big on that too. People think when people talk about diet, we only mean food, but that also pertains to what we listen to, what we watch, and that is, I don't really listen to rap, so that's why I don't know the gentleman's name that recently. I literally don't. I listen to, my acoustic sounds and my meditation music and R&B and the old school, classics, Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, Al Green,
Yes. Yeah, you say Al Green.
those are my vibes. And you got to be very, like you said, really conscious. Even movies. I'm a mother now of a 1.5-year-old, and
she's so cute.
Thank you. A lot of the times I make it very, it's very on purpose that I watch movies with singing and dancing and color. It took a little while to realize, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be watching Law and Order SVU while she's doing it. Like, we'll wait till she goes to sleep. Right. For her father, I'm like, I don't think you should be watching crime, 90210 and whatever. You know what I mean? Like The Office. These are all, they're funny shows or they're entertainment for us, but when you have a kid, and that's the funny thing, we protect our kids. It's so funny. We protect our kids from all this stuff, but then we don't protect ourselves.
Yo.
It doesn't make any sense.
We forget. We get a little distracted. We get a little wrapped up in things. That's why, I started to notice this shift in humanity, because I'm like, all of a sudden now, like before it was work. Just get a job, start a career. It was very coarse. Like when I think about that type of language, I think of like, not even marble, like just rigidness, like rocks, just get it done. Like, it doesn't matter. Just get it done. Just get it done. And now all of a sudden, amazing people like Seth Godin have a voice. He talks a lot about marketing, and, even Maria Daniels that I work with, she talks about emotional selling. And all of a sudden there seems to be this energy radiating where we're starting to come up with different words and terms based on how we feel. Our feelings were ignored before. We were just like, yo, you walk in the office, like, forget about it. Like, whatever you got going on, just leave it at the door. And it's like, that's traumatic for somebody to make the attempt to do that.
Funny story. Well, not funny. Before I full-fledged went into doing hair, I was working part-time for a divorce attorney. She was a single, I guess you could say it was just her, to be honest. It wasn't even a firm. It was her and it was me. How stressful already from that do you think it was? And she was pregnant.
What?
The way she used to treat me, kid you not, I really just had suicidal thoughts.
Really?
Like I sat there and I just couldn't even think of like what I was supposed to be doing at work. I was so depressed. I think I went through that for probably 5 months. And then one day I sent her an email and I said, hey, I'm going to lunch. I never came back. I couldn't. There wasn't going to be 2 more weeks that I was going to go through that. And I was terrified, but I had to do it because my emotional and mental health was literally at stake. So, without that, I don't think, and then, from that day, I vowed to never work for anybody else ever again. I knew how much it was important to me to feel respected, loved, supported, and I didn't have any of that with this particular woman. So from that day forward, it was me against the world.
Hey, amen. Yeah. And if you don't mind, I want to ask you a little bit about that because I'm curious of what your vision is on being respected and what that means for you. That's what I'm a little curious about. So why do you feel in that moment it was so hard to work for her? Or why do you feel like it affected you in that way?
She reminded me of another relative who equally mistreated me when I was growing
Mm,
up. So
mm,
it was triggering. She would come in. I don't even know sometimes if she would say good morning, but she would just
mm,
start going off. And I understand that in the very beginning, I didn't know what I was doing, but it was her responsibility to train me. And because it was a one man team or one woman team, she single handedly was taking on these cases and she was stressed out. She couldn't also train me. So I'm making mistakes after mistakes. And when you're a divorce attorney, there can't be mistakes.
mhm,
So I understood why she was upset, but I also feel like not, you're not doing what you said you were going to do, which was show me how to do the job.
mm,
So yelling at me, and mind you, I'm a grown woman. I'm not a 16-year-old child. We are
mhm,
equals in that respect. We're both women. We're both mature women. So I
mhm,
need you to communicate to me in that manner. And
mm,
like I said, it was the exact opposite. She would talk down to me.
mm,
She was just really rude. Her energy was just not nice. And like I
mm.
said, I know I was messing up, but there's a way to communicate that.
Right.
Hey, you know what? I know you really love what you're doing. I know you like the job, but you're not really doing what I need you to do. Let's talk
Mm,
about let's talk about what options you have or the ways that we could either get you to be better or maybe this job is not for you.
mm.
That's very different than the things that she would say.
Right.
I think communication is how you can kind of make that decision on whether someone is respecting you or not.
Right.
So like I said, I kind of knew. And I
Right.
was taking it because you know what it was? It's like, oh, I have a really good job. That's what it always was in the back of my mind. I have
Mhm.
a really good job. This is really good money. Forget
Right.
the money.
Right.
Forget the title that you have. Forget the firm that you work for. Or
Right.
forget the fact that your parents, because that's what it always really is, right?
Right. Right.
Your parents want you to be a doctor. Your parents want you to be a surgeon. Your parents want you to make six figures. What do you want?
Mhm.
What is going to make you happy and feel full and
Right.
alive?
Right.
Write that down and then have a very strong backbone because there's going to be people that don't agree with you.
Right.
I had a family member flat out tell me that I shouldn't be doing hair, not
Mm,
to do hair, that I need to be doing something else.
mhm.
And I was like, all right, no.
Mm, right.
You learn to say no. It's
Right.
because it's your life and you have to live it every single day. So the decisions that you make, you have to live with those decisions. And if you
Right.
make decisions that someone else bullied or forced you into, you're going to be miserable.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's,
Right.
thank you for sharing that. Um, I had a feeling that it would radiate, what we're starting to learn as a society is
Mhm.
how important it is to listen to that voice inside of you.
Right.
Because sometimes I think the voice starts out kind of low. And if you're aware enough, it can get louder and you can start to move within that frequency. Sometimes the voices that we get outside of us can be louder than it, you know? I'm grateful to know that you decided to listen to that inner voice to be like, no, I'm gonna keep doing hair. Like I'm not going to go into what your idea of success is.
Exactly.
I'm gonna sit in what my idea of success is, and I'm gonna capitalize on that.
Yep. Take
And
it to the next level.
heck yeah, and that's a lot of what we talk about, like even with Maria and I on our other show, Spontaneity. We talk a lot about understanding what your values and principles are and operating out of that versus the idea of what somebody else is setting for you. Because I think what it is, it comes down to narrative or the story associated with a vision. So the
Hmm.
vision of what we feel success is, or the vision of what we feel like um, what we should be making monetarily. Other people share that with other people, like, oh, you're from me, or you're associated with me, therefore this. you know, because we have that idea, but at the end of the day, it's coming from us. You know what I mean? We don't realize like we're literally overshadowing who this person really is and what they're drawn to. And we kind of denounce that it's less than.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it is important to have mentors to guide you, especially because we do get lost. Don't get me wrong. Like there are times where I was just like, you know, questioning certain things, like, you know, is this right? Is, you know, so having other people, like I have one client, shout out to Nika. I love this woman. She is a phenomenal Black woman, and she does, I don't know if she realizes, like I literally look up to her and aspire to be like her, minus the fact that I think she gets like 2 hours of sleep. Nika, I need you to sleep more. Okay. But no, she works so hard. And she has a daughter who's she's older than me. Her daughter's older. But yeah, everything that she does like is for her child. Me being a mom now like catapulted me into this beast mode that I don't think I've ever even been on before. But it takes women like her and women maybe, you know, I don't like too much to like idolize celebrities or whatever, but maybe it's a Michelle Obama or, you know, someone like that can kind of allow you to see like what is required to get to the level that you want to go.
Yes.
It definitely takes a lot of work. And there are days where I don't get a lot of sleep, but it's important. If we're going to be talking about self-care, it is important to sleep. You can't give, you know, 100% of yourself to someone if you yourself is on 30%. It's like a phone. If you don't charge it, right, it's literally going to die. So I'm going to need everybody to charge up.
Y'all better get your crystals, charge your crystals.
Exactly. And not just to 20%, just so you can make that one quick phone call or send that email. You got to charge to 100%. Every now and again, at least, you know?
Yeah. Like, I love that you said charge to 100% because I think now, you know, I'm 36 now and I'm just starting to realize like what I need to get to my 100%. And I'm like, yo, every day. You know, you might skip a little bit, you know, bump and bruise a little bit, but eventually like you start to realize like what is serving you, what creates the best version of how you see yourself being in different moments, like what is creating that. Because if you start off, because even for me, like if I start off like not with prayer or not with meditation, I'm distracted. I'm starting out with other stuff in my head. But if I set that foundation and I'm building that house, the foundation is putting trust in the vision, putting trust in the purpose, and then operating out of that frequency. That's what helps me to work at my best.
Yeah. My life partner, which is my daughter's father, he and I used to argue so much. And it used to be over dumb stuff. Why is this sock here on the ground? What? Yeah. And I'm just like, why? You know what I mean? So for me, I was like, okay, let's take a step back. And like, what is it that I am missing? What is it that I need? Because why are we arguing about socks on the floor? Right. So I made it a point. It literally is in my calendar that my first appointment is not a client. It's myself. My first appointment starts at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. That is putting a pot of tea, boiling a pot of tea, right? Lighting my candles, burning my sage, meditating, and having a good 30 minutes to 60 minutes to myself. Now, my daughter decided that she wants to wake up now at 6:30 in the morning. So she pushed my wake up time a little bit earlier. But so I normally try to go to bed like 9, 10 o'clock just so I can have that energy to even get up. You got to do, like you said, you got to do that stuff. You got to make those conscious decisions to put yourself in a position to be in a happy, good mood. It doesn't just come, you know, I mean, maybe some people, they hop out of bed and they're ready to go. Like, sometimes I can do that.
Right.
time.
Yeah, it's not all the time. I do have those days one day. I'm like, yo, morning's here. You ever watch Friends with the guys like, morning's here? And he's like,
good show. Yes, I remember.
they're like, hey. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's so important to operate out of that foundation and to create it. I think that's the thing. Like, you know, sometimes we may look at somebody else like, okay, they do. That was something I fell into a little bit. I was looking at, you know, YouTube videos like CEO mindset. Like, this is CEO wakes up at 4:00 in the morning and gets on the treadmill.
Yeah, but I'm like, they don't do that every day. Y'all are lying. But I know, like on YouTube, they have those motivational videos. Then it's like Will Smith and Denzel Washington and The Rock.
Every morning I grind, every morning. And granted, like, I'm pretty sure majority of the time, absolutely, you know, whatever. If you do it every day, props to you. You know, that's amazing. But what I fell into was thinking I had to do that. You know what I mean? And it needed to look like that in order to create this result. And I started to realize, like, wait a minute, like, I'm not able to keep up with this. Like, this is a lot for me. Some days I do start at that, but I allowed myself to be adaptable and to be like, okay, yeah, I think that's the space. And I was like, oh, okay. So sometimes, yeah, I'll wake up at 4:00 in the morning and get on the Peloton. I'm like, yo, this is amazing. The next day,
You
that
have a
ain't gonna happen.
Peloton?
Yes, girl.
You
want to come over and use it?
I was thinking like,
I think I could have as many as, like, I forget how many people you could have on a profile. So yeah, I got a Peloton. You just gotta get the shoes, girl. You gotta get the shoes. If you get the shoes, yeah, you gotta get the I think it's like a Delta clip that you have to have because your shoes actually clip into the bike. I didn't get new pedals where you could just like get on. I didn't get those. I was like, no. If you want to use the Peloton, it's a commitment.
Right. It's a commitment. You have to invest. Now, how much are these shoes, like the clip-in situation?
The clips are not expensive. The shoes, they range. It's kind of like sneakers, right? Like, it's really about how the shoe fits on you. I would highly recommend, like, there's a bike shop over here on Jericho Turnpike. I think it's called like Bike Nation or something like that. There's many places you can get it online. I got mine on Amazon. They were like $30. Are they the best?
Amazon is at my house every day.
Girl. Amazon is caking right now. Amazon it's not just your house, girl.
Whoever has stocks in Amazon, y'all are winning right now.
Yeah, Amazon, Wayfair, Tesla. You can name so many. But yeah, like, you know, with the Peloton, you know what it is? The reason why I got it, for me, money does have some type of value, obviously, to me. Everybody has a different way of how they see money. I used to think money was evil because, you know, we were raised with the money is the root of all evil.
I never thought that. I'm like, how could something that keeps my lights on, that keeps me sheltered, that keeps my daughter fed, that keeps my cell phone on and my business booming, how could that be evil? It's only evil if what you're doing with the money is evil.
Right.
Money is literally a piece of paper. So how is it evil? It's only evil if the person who's holding it is also evil.
Praise God. I love that. That was the mindset I used to have. That it was like, you know, I'm going with what they say, and okay. But then when I started to realize that money is a tool, I was like, okay. When I quit my job last year, I started to think about money differently. That's when the pivot started, because it was the first time, you know, I saw my boss at the time watching these stock channels. And the funny thing is, I was like, this is something I need to revisit. As a kid, I used to sit and watch Bloomberg. Bloomberg television would always have that. You're like, weird. All right. So, like, you're 7. Like, what?
Right. Like Cartoon Network. Ed and Eddie?
Yo,
you were watching Bloomberg.
Look, I was a very interesting kid. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying I didn't. Okay. I'm an interesting adult now. Okay. But I did watch Ed, Ed and Eddie. I watched Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I watched Johnny Quest, okay, with G.
Yes.
Like, I watched all of that. I watched, like, we can go down that lane another day. But, you know, I did watch that. But there was something about Bloomberg television and seeing this ticker at the bottom of the screen that I had no idea what it meant. But I was like, why is IBM up and Johnson & Johnson down at that time? I was just like, I don't get it, right? So when I saw my boss like was watching this, I was like, why is that important to him? Like, why is that on? Why is he not watching like a different show? Like, why is that important? So when this whole pandemic started and I was working from home, I had the ability to have my TV on. So I was like, I'm going to put on Bloomberg. That was the first time I heard now consciously, because, you know, as a kid, you don't know what's going on. So as an adult, I started to realize, I was like, wait a minute. Somebody else is making the rules. Like, somebody else has a plan that's their plan. You know what I mean? And I realized how important opinions were to those numbers. Meaning, how did Joe Schmo get on Bloomberg? Why are they interviewing Joe Schmo? Why is Jane Schmo not on there? Not to say men, women. I'm saying, like, what is the criteria of this person getting on the show? Is it somebody they knew? Is it like, what's going on here? And I realized that there were times where whoever is in office, they would put that stock ticker up. And that's when I was seeing a different facet of how important words matter to the dime, like to a dollar. Like, somebody can literally go out there that is of importance in that realm and say something, and those numbers will go down or up. And that's when I was like, oh my God. So I started to, I went down, YouTube University, when you go down that deep dive, girl.
Yeah, all day, a 24-hour drive. I've done that before.
When you just back to back to back to back. And I started learning about stocks and learning about how this whole world operated. And I started to realize, I was like, wait a minute. If they can do this, I can do this. And I started to study it. And that's when I realized that it's not that money is the root of all evil. That is an idea of a person that sees it that way. Just like how you said, it's the person and what they do with the money. I realized that money is a tool. And it's something that you could actually make work for you if you put it in the right place. Like, you don't have to be there. You can just put it there and it'll grow. Somebody else is going to be the sunlight, the water, and the soil. And I was just like, oh my God, it's that simple. Of course, there's a lot of research to make it look that simple.
Right, because it's not that simple.
Yeah, it's like, it always comes down to values once again. And that's what I realized. I was like, wait a minute, what? Like, it was just like a total, like, oh my God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How have you seen, for you, now that your idea of success is winning for you, or it's working for you, how do you see money now? Or you still see it the same way?
Yeah, I still see it the same way. I think being a parent just allowed me to understand the importance of saving. Okay, we're not going to go out this week for dinner. I'm not going to buy those really nice shoes. Instead, I'm going to make sure I put that money in my daughter's savings account. And then a little extra in my savings account. Right now, even I currently live in an apartment. And I'm happy because it is like my first apartment, officially, but the next level is a house. So I need money, right, to put down on a house. So saving has become super important, for my child's future and for my own. One day I do want to retire, but it really hasn't changed. I've never seen money to be evil. I'm slowly learning about investments and stuff like that. My dad is actually a financial financial advisor. So I go to him when I have questions. And my sister also used to work for JP Chase. She was high up there. So she also has financial education, and she sends me stuff, and we talk all the time about money. So there's a respect. There's a like, back to relationships. You have to have a relationship with money. You have to have a respect for it and understanding of it. But, you know, like I said, I've never seen it as evil. It is a tool. It's a necessity. You can't do anything without money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So interesting. So let's venture into, because I'm back on your website. Let's venture into hair care and being a loctician. So what are some things that you would recommend for locks?
For the first time ever, I saw someone refer my services to someone else, and they put me in the category of a holistic hairstylist. And I was like, oh, I never even thought about it like that, because I really am about the mind, body, and soul of the journey. It isn't just about hair. So I talk to my clients about, you know, when you wake up in the morning, you spray your hair with water and oil, moisturize your scalp. You can, you know, massage it down to the bottom. You know, drinking water, eating your fruits and vegetables, taking a multivitamin. Right.
Yes, girl.
And, you know, it isn't just about your hair. It's about how you treat your mind, your body, and your soul, because that too can make or break the journey of your hair. Like, you know, if you, for instance, don't drink a lot of water, what you put in your body comes out through your hair, skin, and nails. So if all you're drinking is, I don't know, soda, your hair is not going to be as healthy as someone who makes sure to drink a gallon of water every single day. And like I said, energy is real. So even the fact that I'm a loctician and I'm touching people all the time, it's super important that I am pure, because when I put my hands on you, I'm transferring to you. But you're also transferring back to me. So I even talk to my clients and I tell them, like, hey, that energy, we got to be on the same wavelength. So I would say all of my clients, for the most part, are super awesome, positive individuals. So I have an amazing group of clients.
Yes. You know, I love that you discuss, you know, the importance of it and knowing like what you're putting in your body, because like, you know, it's so funny. I was just curious, you know, before we got on, I was like, what is the internet say about how important hair care is? And I was like, that's interesting. I didn't look at it like that, but it's literally like that lasting first impression of someone, you know, it's your crown, literally. And, you know, that's something I even have to remind myself, because I'll be like, yeah, messy locks all day long. Yeah, accept me as I am. But
you are crazy.
But you know what? I'm grateful that I know you, and I'm grateful that you had that opening yesterday, because I didn't realize how long it was that I saw you, and you're like, girl, it's been about 2 years. I was like, yeah right. You're like, my daughter is one.
I was in the very beginning stages of my pregnancy the last time I saw you, and she's 1.5 now.
Yo.
She's actually screaming in the other room.
Is she good? Do you need to check on her?
No, I think she's okay.
All right. You like, I'll wait for something when you hear something.
Right. Crash and burn.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, like, it's so interesting because my mom would always say, your hair is your beauty, your hair is your beauty. And I'm like, whatever. You know what I mean? But now I'm starting to realize a little bit more of how important hair care is and how important that energy transfer is. Because just like I said, like when I go to you, like I feel like I'm in good hands, like literally. Like you're like my hair all state.
Okay.
You're like, if that's the way you see it, girl. But like, I feel like I'm literally in good hands. Like you're very good at caring. Like I don't feel like, so, you know, granted, like everybody has their own process, but you know, sometimes I would go to somebody, I'm like, oh God, I don't want to do this. It's gonna hurt. Like it's like going to a doctor. But you're so caring with the entire process. You know, I never really even.
We talked about. You even just mentioned it. How your hair is your crown. So you got to treat that. You ever see somebody take a crown off and throw it? No, it's a whole slow, delicate, gentle process. So that's literally how I operate.
That's wicked. It takes a lot to be consistent with that, to celebrate it, and to share it consistently, no matter what. It's so interesting. Like I have to get back to that, the transfer of energy. Like I was thinking the other day, like how important that is, because, you know, even when people go to a barber shop, it's a relationship. Like I realized that, and I was like, that's so interesting. It would be so interesting if we could kind of like discuss that, or if there was like a show. I'm pretty sure maybe somebody has it. If not, maybe it's gonna be yours. I don't know.
I know.
But like, I keep pushing you, like, do a show. You're like, not right now. I'm like, do a show. But it's a relationship, you know? It's somebody's taking care of your crown. You're trusting in somebody to take care of your crown and let you know what is for it, what's not for it. You know what I mean?
And it's funny because we keep talking about it being a relationship, and so often people are in relationships that are super toxic, right? And they stay in them. They stay in super toxic relationships. But that has a lot to do with, right? Right? How they
girl,
feel about
something's coming to me.
right?
You're so right.
But when it comes to their hair, you know, let a hairstylist make one real big mistake, and they're on Google searching for the next one. So make it make sense. You stay in toxic relationships with significant others, right? But when it comes to your hair, the minute one mistake or even two, you're out. Make it make sense.
So well said. So well said. You know, it's so funny because you brought me down my hair journey. Like, you know, as I mentioned, this is my second set of locks.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, when I had my first set, I was just looking for anyone that was on Long Island that did hair. It's not about how they did it, whatever. As long as I come out looking all right, I was good. And it's so funny because even relationships, it was like, oh, they like me. All right, let's go. You know what I mean?
And that's all you need. Oh, they looked my way.
Yeah. But who is looking your way? And how do they look your way? Who is doing your hair? And how do they do your hair? It's so interesting. I love that you said that. It all makes sense now. Like, it's so interesting that we don't apply that same significance to other aspects of our lives.
Yeah. And they relate so perfectly. And I don't know, it seems to be still, even so, very complicated. It shouldn't be, right? What did Lauryn Hill say? It could all be so simple.
You have to drop that, girl. You know, it's so interesting because, you know, I think life is a journey where you learn what your values are, and then you're provided with many options and choices of whether to operate within them or outside of them.
Yeah.
And the moments that you operate outside of them, they do not serve you. They only add suffering. But the moments you start to operate out of them, not that you will not suffer, but you suffer a little bit less, because there's going to be some decisions you got to make where it's like, I don't want to say no.
Yeah, they're going to be tough.
Yeah, I don't want to say no, but I have to say no.
Like, I've had clients that I didn't particularly want, but because they weren't for me, the universe removed them. I didn't really have to do anything. You know what I mean? So if you're that connected, you're going to be taken care of anyhow. You know, my daughter is upset with me right now, though, so I'm going to go get her.
Okay, go get her. Oh man, she's so cute, man. Oh my god, this is so amazing. Like,
Hello. You want to say hi?
oh my god, can you imagine she sees me and she starts like freaking out? Oh my god. So guys, if you're listening to this episode and you're not watching the video, remember you can always catch Price on Purpose. Oh, hi! On YouTube. Hi, cutie. You're so cute.
Say thank you.
She's like, all right, that's enough. You're a little intense. She's like, there's a person. I can't believe that the person is responding. Look at her eyebrows. She's just like, she looks like me when I'm concentrating. She's so cute.
Say thank you.
What is her name again?
Juliana.
Hi, Juliana.
You know how to wave.
Hi.
Can you wave? Yeah.
You are the cutest of the cutes.
This is my whole world right here.
Oh my gosh, she is so precious. Look at her with her new teeth. Do you like your new teeth? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Did you like your show? You were watching what?
Baby shark do 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 do. Yeah.
Girl.
Every day she watches it. I let her watch like 1 hour of TV. So she gave us our 1 hour. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Me? Cause you're like, where's my mommy?
Yeah. She was just like, what? Hold on a second. I've been in the Twilight Zone. What's going on? Yeah, Ivory, you know, I'm so grateful that we finally did this interview and had this healthy discussion because
I'll have headphones next time.
Yes, girl. Yes. We got to get you some headphones.
Do not undress me on television.
She's like, Andre. But yeah, it's so interesting, of how the hair. What exactly? What? Wow. Right? Wow. But it's so interesting of how much hair care is important in our spiritual journey and our values journey. Right, Juliana?
See, mommy didn't do my hair yet, but I'm going to do it before we go out today.
Her hair's so cute. Look at the little curls. But I was just letting the listeners know, I said, if they're not watching the video, that they can see it on YouTube.
Okay.
And, because they also get just the audio version.
Nice.
So is there anything that you would like to add as we conclude, like where people can find you to book an appointment?
To book appointments, you could go either to my Instagram or you can go directly to the website. But across the board, it's thelocnessgoddess.com or at the Locness Goddess. You can even Google that and anything regarding me will pop up.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I didn't even ask you, like, how did you come up with the Locness Goddess?
I think her father came up with that name. I was struggling with what to call myself. And he helped me with that. He's actually been a very big support. He actually was like the one that was like, you can do this. Because I was not sure. But he's been a big supporter and help.
Amen. Yeah, sometimes, it's so important, as we were talking about having that foundation around us. Like, it's so important to have people that understand where we're going and why we're going there.
Mm-hmm.
Juliana, is there anything that you'd like to add as we conclude the show?
What do you want to say?
Do you want to add any comments?
She said, go book your appointments right now because my mommy is booked until January 2022.
Yes. Thank you so much for that, Juliana.
She's like, I'm out.
I really appreciate speaking with you today. I think we touched upon such greatness.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. I got to have you on again. Maybe we can have you on Quality Theory so we could talk about more business oriented stuff and how important that white glove service is.
Yes. Very important. And I just, you know what, my hopes for other hairstylists in the industry is to understand how important it is, because it's one thing to like get the client, right? But don't you want to keep them? Keep them coming back over and over and over and over again. In order to do that, you have to give them quality customer service. It can't just be, you know, oh, hey, how you doing? Wash, you know, retwist, dry and buy. Like, no.
Yeah.
I have clients, you know, it's so crazy. I have clients tell me the one reason that they came back is because I spoke to them during the appointment.
What?
That we had conversations. And I'm like,
people don't talk to people?
Mm-mm. They're on the phone. They're talking to the other people that work there. They're not saying nothing. I had the one client tell me that she went to go get her hair done, and the woman did the hair out of her home, and the baby was sitting on the client's lap. She's like,
nah. I'm not a babysitter.
Like how Juliana's sitting in my lap right now.
Yeah.
I was like, you're kidding, right? She was like,
can you imagine?
No. You already know. And that would not, what? Can you imagine? No. Definitely not.
Oh my God. No. You know, it's so interesting. You know, I would love to get an interview with, now that I'm thinking about it, because I had another amazing person on. Her name is escaping me right now. Hold on, I want to get her name because she's going to be on an episode later on. Oh my goodness, what is her name? But she lives in the UK, and she specifically focuses on getting clients that are salon owners. She gets them or connects them with commercial buildings so that they can start their process, because she realized that it was a very male-dominated industry and that it needed a little work. And you know, she understood being in the salon. She was at a salon at a very young age, and she realized, she's like, wait a minute, like a lot of these people don't know what these people need. Like I need to help them out with that process. Her name is Denise Ferguson. Whew, thank God. Whew. Yeah, she'll be on a future episode, but it's so interesting. We were talking about Tabitha Coffee. Are you familiar with Tabitha Coffee? Tabitha Coffee is this awesome person. There used to be this show that would play on Bravo. That's how I found out about her. And she would, so you know about like Bar Rescue?
Yes.
So it was a show kind of like that, where she would walk in because she's a salon owner.
I know exactly what you're talking about now. I just didn't know her name. Yes.
Yeah.
That was a scary show to watch.
Girl, you were probably shaking, like having like, you know, because what I love about her, and that's the thing, we stepped away from what, and this is not just in the hair business. This is in a lot of businesses, of what the company standard, what the company values are. We're not operating out of that. We start out that way when we first open, but then it diminishes. And she would talk about how, you know, she would go into salons and literally redo them and help them realize how important that customer care is. Like, you know, I'm going to see if I can talk to her, have her on, because that's something that would be amazing to really break down. You know, look at, like, I'll say this. I haven't had Chick-fil-A's food yet for many reasons, but I do want to try it. However, when I do deliveries, because I do food
good luck not being on the line for 45 minutes waiting to get to the window.
You see, but this is the funny thing.
And that's since the day they opened.
That, you see what I'm saying? People are willing to wait for that. You see what I'm saying? There are other places that serve chicken, burgers, shakes, and they started out with the line.
Exactly.
And then the line disappeared. You
That's
know?
like Sonic.
Yeah.
Sonic, when it first hit Deer
Yeah, you
Park
remember that?
Avenue, girl,
Down the
around
street.
the corner, I was like, I will never go there.
But you see, there's no line now.
Yeah, no line.
So many spaces. But that's what people don't realize is that it started amazing because yes, it was new.
Yeah.
But there was a novelty to the experience. There are so many great businesses out there, but they don't know that they're great because they forgot about their great.
Mm-hmm.
And they just do okay now.
But that is why they say it's important to have a business plan that you can go back to. Because you would be reminding yourself of what you used to give people. Because when we write our business plan, that's before anything ever takes off or launches. So if you don't have that, if you don't have something to look back at, that's why the diminishing even happens. And I think that's probably the biggest issue.
Yeah, you're saying that people
don't go into it with a purpose. They're just like, I want to make money. This is the purpose that, I'm providing. This is the solution that I'm making for a problem. And that's it. There's so many more bones that go.
Absolutely. Like it's so interesting. Like we need to look back at it.
Yeah.
Look back at it. And it's true because it's easy to kind of lose focus. That's natural. It's going to happen. But what do you do when that happens? You know what I mean? That's the thing. It's not that you have a bad business. It's that the mission statement is not radiating and it's not being it's not being utilized.
I probably get one new client a week.
Yeah.
So I get my my reminders weekly because when people sit in my chair, the floodgates open. They are an open book. They tell me everything, and I'm just like, see, I'm constantly reminded, like, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. It surprised me when you said that, but then it reminded me of that's part of the reason why I stopped going to certain people because I didn't feel important to them. I felt like just another job. Just another job. Like I felt like, yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say there are times that I won't see a client for a little while, and I'll check in like, everything okay? Because to me, it's not about the money. Are you good? I had someone tell me recently, I was checking in on them. I hadn't heard from them in like 2 weeks, which for me was, and them, our particular relationship was out of the norm. So I started making phone calls to people that I know the person because I wasn't getting through to them. So they finally got through to someone that was even closer to the person. Finally, it gets back to me. They had checked themselves into a hospital. Like, you gotta check in and check up on people and clients. That's the last thing that I want to make. I understand that your clients pay you, but at some point, these clients are no longer clients. They're friends. They're family. They're a whole important human being. And if they don't feel that way, they are going to walk.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's so interesting that you say that because, just that genuine care and understanding for the person that you have a business relationship with, or dare I just say relationship, just making sure that they're all right. I think we would do a little bit better if we treated our businesses like that, checking in on people. I'm pretty sure businesses would even flourish more if they checked in on their clients and said, hey, are you okay? Or I think businesses would do a little bit better even as an employee, like an employer saying like, hey, so-and-so's, I think Simon Sinek, he is big on quality. He's somebody I admire in the customer care or I should say just human relationship business because he speaks a lot about, when people's performance diminishes or changes, how do we address it? Because some people, it's like, get your numbers up or else, pretty much. That's the conversation. Instead, just like how your foundation is speaking with love, hey, Joan, I realize that your numbers have changed, and that's a little unlike
That's
you.
unlike you.
Yeah, are you okay? Coming from that perspective versus like, fix it now.
Fix it now.
It's so interesting if we just took a little more human approach, how we could, some people talk about now, man, this is why we got to be on quality theory, because this is what this is turning into. This is what we talk about on quality theory. But, we focus a lot on this great resignation. I was actually speaking with a guest that I had on Price on Purpose. She lives in Trinidad. And I asked her, I was like, here in the States, we have this thing called the Great Resignation. Is there anything like that going on in Trinidad? And she said, no, not, thank God, not at this time. That's not happening. And I said, well, what is it? What could it be that is causing a lot of people to leave their jobs? And it comes down to that, not feeling appreciated. Like, can you imagine if you went to work and somebody, like, just like you shared your experience of working for the divorce attorney.
And it didn't matter how much money I was making.
Right.
That's how much I mattered to myself. Way more than any check, know? And I think I applaud people that leave their jobs. I do. There used to be this whole thing. Oh, you got to give them 2 weeks. What if my mental health or my emotional health isn't going to make it for 2 weeks?
Right.
I would never tell somebody you have to get, like, when she gets older and, she starts either a business or if she starts working, she has my full support in that. Oh, you left a job? Okay. And I understand why people say that you got to have good and positive relationships with people, because when you go to another job and, they're looking for, what is it called?
References.
Yes. Yeah, those are important. But a lot of the people now, they look at resumes. They don't even call no numbers anymore.
They don't.
Check on anything.
They don't
check. So
they don't.
That's not important. And if if she felt, if
she's so cute, I can't stand it. Okay.
To leave a job, as long as gives me the reason, not something silly.
Then John looked at me funny.
Right, like really, that's what we're doing.
Versus, you know what? The company, it seemed like I changed and my values weren't celebrated. That's a little different.
Exactly. I felt like I was being abused and misused, and you want to give me.
She's so cute. She's like, you're so cute.
She knows she's cute too. She knows it. She knows.
She's adorable. She is such a beautiful combination of you and her father. Like, such a beautiful combination. I see like the different features. Like, she's so cute.
Say thank you.
She's like, all right.
She's like, I want my bottle and I want it now.
All right. Well, Ivory, I'm actually gonna, conclude, because I feel like we could talk forever.
We could definitely keep going for sure.
Yeah.
But there won't be anything to left. Well, that's not true. There wouldn't be anything left to talk about on the next show.
Yeah, I would love if you're available to have you on Quality Theory, so we could really dive into the companies and how we could be better in the hair care or salon industry. I think that would be an amazing episode.
It would be.
Because this one was amazing too now.
Yes. But we can always top it. Yes.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to ask you again, because I was going to end it. I was like, but wait a minute. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, I think that's really it. I think I'm grateful for today. I think it allowed for people to get an inside look, because as I said, I used to be me. I was the client. I was just getting my hair done and going. Being in it, now I realize there's a lot of abuse technically happening. And I want to change that. So
Amen.
I think the other thing is people need to speak up. How many times is it that a client doesn't say anything at all? And this is my biggest thing. If you don't tell someone about themselves, let's say they have no idea they're even doing it, how are you giving them an opportunity to change and evolve if you never tell them? So clients, it's your responsibility too to tell us. I tell my clients that all the time. If I do something that you don't like, tell me. Because it might not have been malicious or on purpose. It might have been an honest mistake. But I can't grow, learn, or change if I'm not aware. Same thing goes for relationships. A person can't read your mind. So if you're not happy, they might see physically you're sad, but they don't know why. So you have to tell them.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. It's so important that we radiate that in different aspects of our lives, to be open and to be okay with being open, you know? And I think that's where you can kind of start to make your decision. Like, you know, is this something I want to continue, or is this something that I do need to leave for my health?
Right. You got to put you first in all aspects of life.
Yes. Yes. Ivory, thank you so much. This is an amazing interview and discussion. And thank you, Juliana. I really appreciate you being on the show today. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you.
She said, yeah.
Yeah, anytime. Hit me up later. Thank you again, Ivory.
Yes.